Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. Okay, what's going on, guys? We are continuing the Batman Who Laughs, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am not feeling very good right now. Went to WrestleMania, which was awesome, got caught in the rainstorm afterwards, which was not awesome. And so for the last couple of days, I have had like a stuffy nose and a sore throat, and I've been coughing up some delicious lung butter. I am under the weather. So videos will be scant this week. There's this video today, there'll probably be one on Saturday, and then we'll have like a video on Monday, I think. And then hopefully by Monday, we'll be back, like hopefully by the weekend, I'll be feeling better. We can like get back to normal uploads. If not, well, they'll be scant until I feel better. So anyway, Batman Who Laughs Part 4. Okay, so this story actually kind of takes an insane turn. And it's kind of funny because people were kind of getting a little irritated it was taking so long to come out. But one of the things you guys need to bear in mind is that DC's actually slowed down their releases. They've decreased the number of books that are coming out, and they've also slowed down how often those books are coming out. So it's one of those things where they're trying to sort of navigate the waters on, you know, how comic books should be distributed and so on. It's always an ongoing process. It always happens every 5 to 10 years. You know, it's always something along those lines that sort of sees a shift. But the fact remains that initially where this picks up, and it's kind of cool, is remember, Batman had basically ingested like the Joker toxin, right? Like turned himself into the Batman Who Laughs, because from his perspective and the advice of everybody around him, it was the only way he could really win. And so one of the things that it kind of does is that with him sort of ingesting this substance and then going through and kind of musing to us for a minute, one of the things that he says is that whenever he's going through and things get tough, right? Like things get hard, what he tries to do is see the world through the eyes of like the Robins, of Jason Todd and Tim Drake and Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne. Now he says seeing the world through the eyes of the Robins, but he refers to them as his children. And so really seeing the world through their eyes kind of allowed Batman to see innocence, to sort of move away from the perspective of like the world is dark and dreary and everybody's bad, and seeing it from the perspective of, hey, like sometimes people are just trying to do their best, but like not everything is so black and white as adults really tend to see it. There's a lot of different shades of gray there. And so it's kind of cool because following this, we basically pick up with Alfred, who's just now realizing what Batman has done. And this is actually a really, really cool exchange. And the way that Scott Snyder does this is really nothing short of amazing, because the way this plays out is Alfred freaks, like Alfred panics, right? Because for Alfred, it's like one of the worst case scenarios. And really contextually speaking, given the current situation, it is the worst case scenario. Alfred's fear is that Batman will be lost forever. That's the biggest thing that he goes through. And literally like Batman says, hey, look, I have this visor on because it allows me to differentiate things. Now it's kind of cool because initially we didn't really know what the function of the visor, the Batman Who Laughs, we didn't really know what his purpose was. Honestly, I always thought it was just kind of for visual effect. And what Batman actually tells us, really Scott Snyder kind of says here, is that the visor serves a purpose. That what it does is it kind of allows the Batman Who Laughs to filter through all the different wants and desires that people have, but a person can use it for a variety of different ways. The Batman Who Laughs uses it in order to determine what people's most violent desires are. Batman can use it to see what their hopeful desires are. So it basically kind of allows you to see the desires, the wants, the needs of anybody that you look at. And so when it's taken away from Batman, it's kind of like his only real weapon. But from the perspective of Alfred, it's like, well, no, I'm trying to keep you from completing your desire to be the Batman Who Laughs. Like, it's not really a thing that you need, it's a thing that you want because you're becoming the Batman Who Laughs. And it's kind of a cool thing because where Batman tries to reason with Alfred in turn like smacks him across the head with it. And this is cool because what it does is it turns into a knockdown, drag out fight between Alfred and Batman. As this plays out, like literally Alfred is beating the crap out of Batman, and then Batman just not doing anything to stop him because he knows that the reality of this is that it's kind of coming from a place of love. But as he looks at Batman, looks at Alfred, what he sees is that where Alfred says, hey, look, I love you, he sees like, you know, kind of what the Venom is wanting him to see, which is Alfred wants to hurt you. He wants to bring you harm. You have to get rid of him. You have to kill him. And it's kind of crazy because he sort of goes on like this rant and tears Alfred down where he's like, all you've ever done is hold me back. I've carried you all this time, like literally spewing out every ounce of vindictiveness and anger that he possibly could. And that's really kind of the nature of the toxin, is that while it sort of twists you out as a person and it really kind of you know warps your perspective, it brings out all this anger and all this wrath, because in reality it's almost like Batman's being deprived of something that he feels he needs. One of the things that I hope you guys are noticing here is this really seems to be a pretty strong allegory for like drug addiction. And it's kind of crazy when you look at it that way. Like when you sort of shift it up, drug addiction, alcoholism, things like that, like things that people are addicted to that negatively impact themselves and the people around them. And that's why it's kind of crazy because, you know, Batman's kind of lashing out at Alfred like, you don't want me to succeed. You don't want me to benefit. You don't want me to do well. All you want to do is hold me back. You know, and all these different kinds of things just spewing out anger. But it's not really Batman talking. It's literally the toxin kind of talking through Batman. It's driving his mind to a place that it doesn't really have any reason to go to. And so again, once Batman sort of regains his sanity sanity, kind of comes back, really sort of returns to himself. Some apologies are given back and forth between himself and Alfred, and Batman basically explains, this is what I have to do because there's no other way that I can win. There's no conceivable way that I can beat this guy. And now the cool thing is that following this, where Batman is kind of racing through the city, it gives us a chance to sort of see how this visor impacts him, right? Like when he goes through there and he uses this visor, he looks around and he sees like people who are hopeful, like basically like good people. He sees their dreams, what they look to aspire, parents who hope that their child becomes something great in the world. But then like what he also sees is the darker side, people who want to murder each other, who want to like pillage and destroy each other. But it's kind of a cool scenario with this visor working the way it does, and with the nature of Gotham City. The question I would pose to you is, which one of these is the truth? The version where like Batman sees hopeful people, or the people who are violent and destructive and just want to kill everything? Which one of these is true when it comes to the realm of Gotham? Because Gotham is a dark and violent place, and it's kind of interesting because it's kind of Scott Snyder sort of asking that question, like which one of these is real? Like which one of these is the actual real place? Now at this point we actually switch over to Commissioner Gordon's son, right? Like we switch over to James Gordon Jr. And again, we talked about him in previous videos that James Gordon was a legitimate psychopath, but with Batman bringing him out, is kind of using his mind to kind of predict where the Batman Who Laughs will go, kind of using a crazy person to predict a crazy person, more or less. But as he's talking to James, one of the things that James asks or really kind of makes this argument on is Batman's no-kill rule. And one of the things he says is that back when he was a psychopath and a serial killer, that he was kind of like, the no-kill rule is stupid, because like all Batman really seems to do with his no-kill rule is give criminals a second chance. But he's giving criminals a second chance to commit crimes. The only way to really deal with criminals and to get rid of them completely is to kill them. A dead man cannot be a repeat offender. And it's kind of a cool thing, because when he says that, it's sort of, hey, look, like this is how I view the world. I thought your no-kill rule was stupid because all you were doing was just basically letting criminals back out on the street. You had this sort of, really hopeful, gosh golly, they'll repent one day, kind of belief system, but it never did any good. You were a gerbil in a hamster wheel. You were just running in circles hoping things changed one day if you run long enough or run hard enough, but they never really do. But what he also says is, at the same time, one of the things that I've learned is that there are people out there who deserve second chances. It's not that clear cut. Not everyone deserves a second chance, but not everyone deserves to die for what they did. But you kind of have to take it on a case-by-case situation. What he asks is, he says, hey, look, I know what you're trying to do here, and I get where you're going with this. The question I have is, once the Batman Who Laughs is defeated, and when you defeat him, do you have a failsafe? Do you have a way to bring yourself back and to basically cure yourself of this Joker toxin? And Batman doesn't answer. And so the implication seems to be that no, that once he becomes the Batman Who Laughs, there's no way to undo this, so he's going to be stuck this way. The fact remains that what this ends up doing is kind of switching to like 3 hours prior, and we have this awesome segment that takes place between Batman and Joker. And it's so cool because when Batman spins around and starts talking to Joker, like again, he kind of hallucinates that like Joker wants to kill him and so on and so forth. But what the Joker says is like, I'm just here to talk. And when Batman starts asking questions like, do you just want to talk? Do you want to laugh? Do you want to see like that you finally got what you wanted? The Joker says, no, this is not what I wanted. I did not want you to become the Batman Who Laughs. That if anybody's going to kill you, I want it to be me. More so than that, like you and I are intertwined forever. Like it's kind of crazy because it's like we are sort of irrevocably tied together, right? Like, I'm the clown prince of crime. Like I'm the ultimate evil. You try to be the ultimate good, even though you're not really. And like we fight against each other. And that's basically it. But he basically says that like, this is really the only way that you could win, right? Like this is the only way that you could possibly pull it off. But, I believe that one day, like I will kill you and that will be the end of that. But until that day comes, I came here to simply tell you good luck. And it's kind of interesting here because what Batman does is he addresses the Joker and he says, look, the people in my life, like Alfred, will not have the cojones to do what it takes, right? Like if I full on become the Batman Who Laughs, like if there's no way to bring me back from becoming the Batman Who Laughs, Commissioner Gordon, Alfred, like none of these guys will have the balls to do what it takes. So I need you to do that. And the Joker says, yes, if you become the Batman Who Laughs, I will kill you. It's a mercy killing. It's really Batman like relying on the Joker. Like I wouldn't go as far as to say like they become friends, but they become more allies than anything else. So again, like trying to track down these portals, trying to track down these sources, Batman ends up traveling to Blackgate Prison, to the section that was really more of like a transition period, right? Like it was basically like a halfway house, so to speak, between those being brought in and then being sent to Arkham Asylum. And so as he goes through here, he ends up running into like this one cop, who's kind of like, hey, look, you're the Batman Who Laughs. I'm gonna blow your head off. And Batman basically reasons with him and kind of reveals information like his wife and his daughter. His daughter has a little Batman doll that she squeezes and it laughs, which of course Batman never laughs. Batman doesn't like the fact that it laughs, and so he's kind of like, hey, look, that's how you know I'm Batman, because I don't laugh. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of a cool little thing. But still, like as he goes to this portal, he ends up in this version of Blackgate that's 6 times the size of the one in the main DC universe. And we end up finding out that in this one particular universe in the Dark Multiverse, that this version of Arkham Asylum is ran by Bruce Bruce Wayne himself. And in this moment, like when he starts addressing him and saying, hey, look, like you're in danger, people are going to come for you, they're going to try to take you, and they're going to try to eliminate you. Again, we don't really know the reason why these different Bruce Waynes are being killed, being taken and killed, but we do know Batman's trying to save this one. And in that moment, they're yanked back in the main DC universe, and where Batman tries to take this version of Bruce and basically hands him over to this cop and says, hey, look, keep an eye on him, make sure nothing happens to him, and then in turn deals with like the other officers who were showing up. We end up finding out this cop is not actually a cop. Instead, this cop is the Batman who laughs. And that's crazy because basically like it set Batman up. And it's kind of a cool thing because what he says is like, I know everything that you're going to do. Batman who laughs knows everything Bruce Wayne is going to do. And that's the difference here, is that Bruce Wayne is basically like he transformed himself into the Batman who laughs, but he's not actually thinking like the Batman who laughs. He's thinking like Bruce Wayne. And so it's basically Snyder kind of saying, hey, look, you're really going to have to give yourself over and become this dark and sinister version with a tiny ounce of yourself governing your actions in order to fully be able to defeat this guy. Otherwise, like there's no real way for you to win. And so what the Batman who laughs does, masquerading as this cop, is he tells all the other officers that Batman is the Batman who laughs. He basically killed Bruce Wayne. He's got a trigger device. He's going to blow himself and everybody else up, kill him, take him out now. And all the other officers around them open fire on Batman. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.